Hey guys, I'm just in the midst of repotting a few plants here. Initially, this is not something that I was planning to film. Well, I guess originally I was planning to film the repotting, but I wanted to go for, a very in-depth artistic kind of filming of this. And as a result of wanting to do that, have put off repotting them for quite some time, and it has reached the point where they really just need to be repotted so that they can continue to be healthy or in some cases survive at all. um, so I finally decided, I'm just going to repot them and not film it at all. And then as I was doing this one, I thought, well, maybe I will film it a little bit, but just a bit more casually and less fancy. So I did just repot this one. This is my English ivy. It really just has kind of one strand, and when I pulled it out, I'll put up a picture in the edit. It has very little root really, which makes sense since it's not very big. And it has been in this ceramic pot with no drainage holes for quite a while now, and it really did not have enough root to fill this pot either. So it's probably been sitting in soil that has been pretty moist and also increasingly low on nutrients. I had this plant long before I really got into houseplants. It's now transferred to, this is like a clay pot with plenty of lava rocks in the bottom, so it'll have better drainage, and it's a much smaller pot, so it won't be as tight of a fit. I think the next one that I'm going to do is this peperomia plant. This actually, I consider at least, belongs to my girlfriend. She gave it to me to take care of, and it's in a pretty small pot still because it has grown a lot since I got it. It's actually dropping a few leaves right now, but it's put out a lot of new leaves too, so I'm not too worried about that. And that is going to go into this nursery pot. That's probably a 4-inch pot, which fits perfectly inside of a little black mug that I got from Goodwill. I imagine it was donated because it has a crack in it, but it works nicely as a plant tray, so it gets kind of a second life that way. Now, it has been a subject of debate for me lately, what format I would like to do these plant videos in, or I suppose whether I want to do them at all. I think that it's definitely fun for me to share my houseplant adventures on here. My original intention was that I would probably try to make these very artistic so that regardless of whether you had an interest in houseplants at all, you could enjoy watching these videos just in the background. And I do really love that idea still, that concept. But I think my concern is that that is just a lot of effort, and that potentially that could just lead to a situation like this where plant care gets put off for a really long time because I'm just not available to put the time into making a really complex video of it, spending 45 minutes per plant, putting a video together. I did actually make a video a while back repotting one of my alocasia, and I don't know that that one is even going to get published because the intention was for it to be a very artistic video, and when I started looking at the footage of it, it really just felt like it was a very long ramble that I think got quite boring. So just kind of feeling out this genre, I guess, and deciding what, if anything, I want to do with it. Right, so there is that for now. It is, as you can see, very much drooped over at this point, because I think it was being supported by the hanger of the pot before, and I don't know that I have another hanging pot to put it in at the moment, so I might have to look into what kind of support options I could get to tie it up, or see if it just starts to grow a little bit differently now that it doesn't have that support, but it does at least have more root space now. Also just gonna trim off the dead leaves of it here. It knocked a few live leaves off in the process there too. There are also several exciting videos coming up on this channel. I have a video about an espresso maker. I ordered a Mac Mini for editing primarily, so likely there will be a video about that. I did a little DIY project recently that I filmed, so I will be getting that out for you at some point. So there are plenty of new things to come that I think will be very exciting for a variety of different viewers, depending on what your interests may be. But at the moment, all of those are just broadly waiting to be edited. My current computer is an i7 Mac Mini, and I am upgrading it to the M4 Pro, and so that is going to be a much more powerful computer that should let me edit those videos just more quickly and easily. So hopefully that will be a good encouragement for me to get all of that stuff put together and put out for you. Obviously, I haven't put out a new video for quite a while. I think my last video was nearly a month ago now of my new iPhone. And I got a lot of viewers on that, which is pretty fun to see. Hopefully, I will be able to make some videos for some of you new viewers that will really interest you. I do a lot of different things on this channel now. In the past, it was really very much photography focused, and now I'm trying to open up and share a little bit more of my life as well. Obviously, though, I'm a creative person, I'm a photographer, and so that type of thing is still going to be very heavily featured in that. I'm also really into tech, so I do have some tech videos like that Mac Mini video. I'm not going to be buying every new thing that comes out, though. I just happen to be updating a lot of my technology this year. I got a new phone because my last phone stopped working, and then I'm upgrading the Mac Mini because mine's getting pretty old, and they just released new ones, obviously, and so I'm gonna make that kind of leap up to the next level. But I expect that that will be a computer that I keep for a very long time. I would really love to become a tech reviewer. I think that would be really fun, but I'm really not in a position to do that. You know, I don't have the money to be buying new computers constantly. And I don't have the following to get people to send them to me for free for review purposes. So I doubt that that's something that's going to happen. There, that peperomia is finished. What is going to be next? All right, my next repot is going to be this lipstick plant. I'm going to put it into this slightly larger pot. This one used to be a hanging pot, but I'm not sure where the hanger is. So if I can find the hanger at some point, I can hang this plant somewhere. Otherwise, it's just going to be sitting in that. But it has been in this real tiny pot that it came in, and it's starting to need a little more space, I think, because there's roots coming out the bottom of the pot. And it's been sitting in a mug, which has been really cute, but it's been sitting in some water, which it hasn't seemed to mind too much. But there's not really any reason that it should like that. fall is a pretty busy time for me. I don't know if it is for you guys, but you know, there's a lot of fall activities that I like to do. I enjoy, you know, going apple picking and going on hikes and you know, to see the fall leaves. There's a Renaissance festival here in the fall, so I always like to go to that at least once. I always think that we'll go, you know, multiple times, get a pass and go every weekend or something, and that never ends up actually happening because there's so many other things going on in the fall time. And then obviously the holiday season is coming up as well. So it's November 11th. Today is Veterans Day, and I had the day off of work. So that's how I have a bit of time to get these plants done. But the holiday season is coming up, Thanksgiving, Christmas, and all of that. I don't really know how that will affect my ability to get videos out. On the one hand, I'll have lots of things with family and so forth to get done. But on the other hand, I probably will take some time off of work, and so that might free up some time at least to edit some things. But I do have a bigger, nicer video that will be coming pretty soon, and hopefully I can follow that up with some things shortly after. Try to keep doing at least maybe one a month, which I really would love to be making a lot more videos for this channel than that, but that just seems to be realistically the number of videos that I can actually accomplish while still you know, doing all of the other things that I do as well. I cut some of these bare stems off because it lost a lot of leaves, and there we go. If I find the hanger for it, maybe I will hang it somewhere because it is a very trailing plant. But I don't know where the hanger is at the moment, so that is sort of one of my struggles in life. Obviously, there's lots worse things, but just that I tend to have a lot more ideas for things that I want to do than actually have time to do them, and sometimes it's hard to know which things I want to prioritize because I really want to be able to do all of them, and realistically, that's just not possible, at least not in the short-term time frame. So that is kind of part of why I'm branching out the videos on this channel a little bit. Is it helps me explore some different video areas, and it also just helps me to overlap some of my hobbies, where, you know, if I film myself taking care of my houseplants, that can become one of my videos and my houseplant chores combined into one, so that overlapping is a little bit less that I have to do than if I'm writing a photography video and doing that and still doing the houseplant things, just as an example. The second to last plant that I'm doing here, I think, is my philodendron Florida green, which has gotten very large and is in a very small pot, especially compared to the size of the plant. But honestly, just overall, this is not a very big pot. We have tons of roots coming out the bottom of it. Somehow this plant has just kept on pushing out leaves like nobody's business, even though it has absolutely no root space at all. You might be able to work it loose. I love philodendrons. Philodendrons always seem to grow pretty well for me, as well as alocasia also always seem to grow pretty well for me. But philodendrons especially are a really easygoing plant. So if you are, there we go. If you are a beginner in houseplants, definitely would recommend getting a philodendron. There's tons of variety of them, and all of the ones that I have tried so far have grown really easily and been really happy plants. So yeah, just have a look at the crazy amount of root there. It really just was filling this pot up as much as it possibly could. So getting pretty overcrowded, which again is just a symptom of me putting off repotting these plants in order to make a really fancy video of them, or working on videos, or who knows what else, and not having time to get to them. Okay, for the time being, I'm going to move it to a pot that is probably an inch larger, certainly not more than an inch larger, because I just don't have too many pots available right now. I don't think I have one exactly the right size. I always add some lava rocks to the bottom of the pot to improve the drainage, because that puts a little bit of a buffer for the plant there. Keeps water from sitting in the bottom of the pot. And then we're just gonna put some dirt around this. Right there, that at least will take care of it for a little while. All right, that is 6 plants repotted, some potted up into bigger pots and some potted down into smaller pots, depending on how many roots they have and what they need. So those will now get watered and get put back on my plant shelves under grow lights. That is going to be all for this video. Hopefully it actually makes the cut to even go onto YouTube. It's a little bit more casual of a video style, which I know is not typically what I tend to do on this channel, so hopefully you enjoy it as well. And it was kind of nice to have you along while I repotted these, and I think it was good for me to keep it a little bit more casual in order to actually get this work done and not get obsessed over the art of making the video, which is really fun, but sometimes just is not conducive to actually getting the real project done. There are going to be more exciting videos coming soon, though. Certainly, if you are a coffee lover, I do have a review of a Flare espresso maker coming up. And then if you are into technology, as well as if you do a lot of photo or video editing, I do have a new M4 Pro Mac Mini on the way. I'm going to check that out, see how it does at keeping up with all of the tasks that I can throw at it, because I have some pretty intensive workloads that I do on my computer. Anyway, that is all for this video. If you enjoyed it, leave a like, leave a comment, subscribe to the channel, and I will see you in the next one.